Welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. Here are your hosts, Coach Mike Keene and Jeff Hodges.
Hello and welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. I'm Jeff Hodges along with UNA head baseball coach Mike Keene. Coach Keene, the UNA Lions 32 and 12, overall right now. You're 11-7 in the Gulf South Conference, and the biggest news from last weekend is you were really able to go out and take care of business with a 3-game sweep of Christian Brothers, and that really helped get you back at the top of the Gulf South Conference race. But it's a series you didn't want to take for granted, and your players did their job and really bear down and got 3 wins.
Well, we knew going into it that if we were going to put ourselves in a position to be at least in the top 3, that it was going to be a big weekend for us to try to win 3 games, and we knew it was going to be tough. Obviously Christian Brothers, you got to take their record out the window because we knew they're going to have a decent ball club, and especially with the Sykes kid on the mound in Game 2, which we knew, and he really was a very good pitcher and gave us everything we could handle, and we were able to do our short game to give us a chance to get a win. The first game we were able to score a lot of runs, and that's kind of the way it's happened. They've kind of given up a lot of runs, and they've won a lot of second games. So I was more really concerned about that second game, and I thought we did a good job of manufacturing runs and coming up with a big hit, and then able to keep them down to get a good win.
UNA won the first game 16-2. You were able to sweep that doubleheader with a 7-3 win in Game 2. And then on Sunday, Chad Bonner came out and gave up a couple of runs early, which is not typical for him, but you were able to come back and win that game 7-4 and complete the sweep.
Yeah, going into this weekend, really what I've been really preaching for quite a while right now is just play really good defense. Let's not try to give them any. When we come out and make a couple mistakes, and then what happens in baseball, Chad throws a good pitch, gets a flare, they score a couple of runs, and obviously Chad wasn't as sharp as he has been, but he battled so well. And in a 9-inning game, giving up 2 in the first inning, it's just one of the things you don't panic and just kind of keep holding them there. And then we were able to have some good at-bats and score and take the lead, and I thought we kind of sat on it a little bit, but and then allowed Christian Brothers just kept playing hard, kept plugging away, and they actually made a game of it towards the end.
You have 2 conference series left, and there are 7 teams out of the 9 in the GFC. They're still within 3 games of each other, so 6 games to play. Every game's still crucial in the conference race.
Yeah, that was, you look at it from just going through it, it's just so tight. You don't really look at the wins, you look at the losses where everybody is, so that way you kind of keep pace with everybody. But like I said, it's going to, the one thing that's not going to happen, everybody, we all know we're in the tournament, but it just don't know who's going to be seeding, because that's not going to go down to the last weekend, and everybody will kind of figure it out. So it'll be an interesting race towards the end, because there's a lot of teams that are kind of vying for in the middle and opportunities, and they got to play each other.
Your final game last week, a road loss at Freed-Hardeman, 9-5. It was a game 5-5 in the 8th, and they got 4 runs late, but a very good team. We played them early in the year. They're ranked in the top 20 in the NAI, and that was a tough loss, but they played well.
Yeah, I think to me it was the most disappointing thing is we actually came out in the first inning, did some things that we really been working on. I mean, we got a leadoff walk, got a single to move runners to first and third, had a nice first and third execution, and did it again when after a hit. And then we had 2 guys that came up with runners at second and third and less than 2 outs, and we would get 2 ground balls up the middle, which we constantly been talking about that, and we're able to get 4 runs. Now, they're a good offensive team, came back and made it 4-2, and then they made some really nice plays to keep it at 4-2, and then we just did not make some plays we needed to make in the middle lineups and allow them to come back. And then the last inning, we just made too many mistakes, and they came up with big hits and were able to get a victory against us.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll have some highlights for you when we come back. Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. Coach Keene, Christian Brothers came to Mike Lane Field last weekend, and they were ranked 9th in the Gulf South Conference, but you can't take anybody for granted in this league. They won a game off West Florida earlier in the year, so you knew it was going to be a tough series, but it was really nice to go out and be able to kind of blow them out in this opener and really establish some momentum for the series.
I think this is one of those games where, we just have the first game has really been our game where we haven't played well, made a lot of mistakes, especially with Johnny Hornbuckle pitching. So it was kind of one of those games where we made some good plays right off the bat. I mean, Andrew makes a nice play, and I thought, well, that's a good sign. Maybe we're ready to play right away. And Johnny kind of settled in and pitched extremely well. And then we're obviously able to score a lot of runs to get a little more comfortable with that lead.
As we get into the highlights here, as you mentioned, Andrew Allman, a tremendous play right out of the gate on one of the first pitches. And that's something, your defense has been pretty consistent all year, but you have had some lapses here and there. But usually the games, it's all come together.
Right, and it's been like weird the first games where that's kind of been the play, but that was just a great play, as you can see right down the line, and it was a play that was borderline foul or fair, and he didn't wait for it and just went for it, came up real quick, came under control, made a nice throw, and then obviously Johnny, that really kind of got him, and then we got a couple ground balls, easy play and get out of there the first inning with 1, 2, 3, and that was really the way I wanted it to start because we really needed that. So, and I think I felt that offensively, if we could get some things going, chance to keep plugging away. And again, 9-inning games, there's so much game left. You can have some good at bats, and then you might not score for a couple innings, but it's just you keep plugging away. You kind of get a feel. You see a pattern. That's really what you're doing early because you get a scout report on, but you really don't know how he's going to pitch you. Is it going to be more breaking balls? Is he going to go to way? Is he going to mix? What's his pitcher? Then you get a look at him, and then when you come around that second time, it gives you a better opportunity to get, take better swings.
And Johnny's pitch count was really low in this game. I know in some of the games where he struggled, he's lost the zone at times, but he was very efficient in this ball game.
I thought this was, again, I thought it was when he came out, had a good, good approach, was really hitting his spots, and just did a much better job of pitching. And and then finally we get some things going here. Of course, Michael's been such a good leadoff hitter for us all year, just an all-around really good player, and got some guys that happen. And then I know this was a 2-strike pitch, and Josh got a fastball, kind of out over the plate a little bit, but he didn't pull off it, didn't try to do too much, and just drove it right up the middle and got in a run. And I think that's what we needed, I felt, when we had those 2 out, get that 2-out hit to get on the board and put a little pressure on them.
And those 2 guys, Schmidt second in the conference in batting average, and Josh first in RBI. So it's 2 guys that really helped you all season.
Yeah, and then here we get a walk and try to trying to get some things going, maybe even bunt them over, hit and run, try to steal some bases. We did get a chance to steal a bit more bases, but, they're struggling a little bit, and, we're trying to be patient, so we get first and second. So again, it's, we're getting base runners on, and that's the one thing, and with our style and the system, when you get guys on base, they're trying to get the ball to the plate a little bit quicker. They're worried about the bunt. They're worried about us running and what we're going to do. And then here we get a ball that, Michael gets it. Just been so consistent for us this year. Get guys up there. He's been one of our hottest hitters. So, I felt it was an opportunity for him to swing away. And obviously he came through with a nice double, and then really started at that point getting an opportunity to expand the lead.
And with his performance in this series, primarily, he was named Gulf South Conference Player of the Week. So a great performance by Michael.
And here you see a situation where the ball was hit, and we had our guy at third kind of broke, and the guy was looking, and the first baseman just didn't get to the bag. And that's what, as well as we run, as fast as Josh is, by the time that first baseman was feeling for the bag, and it was a huge mistake for them. So we're able to get guys and move them over, and here was a double play opportunity, but the ball wasn't hit hard enough. But it's still, one thing you look in there, it wasn't a pop, it wasn't a strikeout. You move the baseball and get a run. And anytime you get a run, is really important, and so we were able to get that run. And again, come up here, and we're looking for someone to come up with a 2-out hit, and Josh here does it again. So I thought he had a really good game. And that, when you get your middle of your lineup, what they're supposed to do, you get the guys in front of them, and then drive in runs. It gives them obviously opportunity for RBIs, and whenever you do that, we're going to score some runs. And Josh did a really good job right there, back-to-back at bats.
And again, Johnny now with the 5-0 lead, and again, he was just right on in this game.
Yeah, and I think that's where, and he had, he just hasn't been in this position a lot this year. A lot of times he's always pitching from behind, so this was fine where he could kind of relax, be a little more comfortable, really work on hitting his spots, forcing them to make contact and allow our defense to make plays, and it's really what he was doing. And again, he's really trying to get his stuff. There's a good pitch that's on the inner half, and the guy just able to get his barrel through the baseball with that. So it's not a bad pitch. Guy did a good job of hitting. So it looks like some things are happening, and they go ahead and try to score him. Make a really good relay throw from Josh Carpenter there. And at that time, again, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make some things happen. And that's something we didn't do against Freed-Hardeman, which we did here. You know, the guy got a chance to score. Well, we throw him out to play, and it completely just shuts him down. The inning's over.
And we have had a couple of errors in the outfield recently, but also some outstanding plays, as you saw there. Nice relay getting that run.
Right, and then then we come back out, and here we get a breaking ball over the middle. And I thought this game, even for this weekend, we did one of the better jobs of staying on breaking balls and using the whole field, middle to the other way, and drove some balls the other way. And that's what we've been working on all year, being able to take pitches out of the plate and go opposite field with them. We've had a tendency, like a lot of hitters in the college and even high school, they try to pull anything out over the plate instead of getting where it's pitched. So get some things going again, and here we got a pitch that we get down the line and gets through there, and another double, and now it's really starting to expand. You know, from being up 5-1, next thing you know, now it's 7-1. And really what it does, it gives Johnny an opportunity to get real comfortable. And then another good job of Michael again. Now there's another pitch out of the plate, doesn't try to pull it, goes with it up the middle. Infield was in, and scores another run, gets more RBIs. So
and one thing that Michael's done all year that you saw the other guys do in this game, where they were patient at the plate. And you saw Andrew Allman take a couple of walks, and then later on he's going to get some key hits, but just being patient.
And that's the thing too, is you get to, you got to be able to stay under control. You got to have some patience. We kind of call it being selectively aggressive. Obviously, you got to understand your zone. You got to understand the pitch selection. And Michael's as good as anybody doing that. But you got to just continue to do that and don't try to get yourself out. And that's a halftime. Some guys, you get up 2-0 and you swing a borderline pitch, and it's up and in, and you could take it, work for the walk, and we can make some things happen. And again, Jake comes through with the hit, another RBI. And when our middle of our lineup guys are knocking in runs, we're going to be able to score runs. That's for all teams. That's what they're for. And here again, we get another ball that we get breaking ball, and is able to get in there and drop and get another RBI. So obviously Sears having an extremely good day at the plate, and he's leading us in RBIs, and he really expanded his lead on the RBIs in this game. And then you see there's a great example of pitch that's away, and we're able to go with it, and the guy tries to come up with a diving play and was unable to make it, so we're able to get another run. But again, the pitch was out over the plate, away, and we didn't try to pull it. We went with it and drove it the other way, and just really good job of hitting. That's one thing I thought in this game. We really did a good job of hitting the other way.
And then an opportunity to shorten the game here. Your lead over 10 now, so you're not going to have to play the full 9 innings. It's going to be hopefully a 7-inning game at this point.
Right, and that's, it kind of helps save your bullpen. And again, Michael, who had, like I said, obviously we see him, he's getting on every time you turn around, and give a chance. And when he's on base, he can steal, he can make some things happen. Now with the big lead like we're obviously not going to run. But their pitcher there again, Doyle, Josh Doyle being selective, being patient, got some more base runners on, and again, it's a big lead, and then you got another guy, and then Jake comes up here and gets another pitch that he can drive, and was able to hit it hard, and the ball, I believe, carried out of the ballpark with there. And
it's nice to send one out to the deck crowd there.
Yeah, and they've been that deck's been it's one of those things that we added a couple years ago, but some of the stuff that's happened on the deck and some of the things they do, they're just do a really good job. The only thing is, if you're one of the opponents, I suggest don't talk back to them, because it won't be fun after that. But they've really get in the game. Obviously, we've got some of our former players out there, so they have a lot of knowledge about what we're doing, what's going on in the game, and it really makes a really neat environment. And overall, I thought we had a great crowd. It was a tremendous crowd this week.
Beautiful weather and a great crowd.
And I thought it was one of our larger crowds, big crowd. So I was glad we were able to play well. And obviously Johnny coming out now, he understands with that big lead, he's got a chance to pitch a complete game, and he was able to do that. But again, I thought he mixed well, and when the runs he did give up, they had a couple balls that they hit, and he settled right back down. So overall, I thought he pitched real well. And again, there's a nice defensive play, and again, we did a good job of hitting the ball the other way, taking what we get, and play good defense. And that's what happens when you play good defense and force them to try to score runs, and good pitch. So a good start to the series that we obviously needed that win to get us going.
Played well all the way around and went on to sweep that series. But one guy in particular we're going to talk about, Michael Schmidt. He was the Gulf South Conference Player of the Week. He had $556, had at least 2 hits in every game last week, at least 1 extra base hit in every game, and accounted for 13 runs. So what a week.
Yeah, and he really, against Freed-Hardeman, it continued. He had another ball that he hit in the gap that the ball was, they called it a catch, where the guy was dove forward and rolling around. Then he comes up and 4-4 hits the home run to get us up 5-4. So he really kind of continued on right against Freed-Hardeman. So that's good to see. But just right now, he's just having hopefully he'll continue to go, because he's really having a good year.
We'll take a quick break. We'll have more Lion baseball for you when we come back.
The UNA Baseball Review is brought to you by McDonald's and by the Courthouse Racket Club.
Looks like there's an opening for shipping coordinator, and I've got to pick someone. Tough decision.
Okay, you could be a rising star, but you just ordered a crispy McChicken and a fresh brewed sweet tea for only $1 each off McDonald's dollar menu. So you're smart, right? Yeah, I got nothing.
Smart man. 2 sevens.
Oh! Wow.
The fox strikes again.
The fox strikes again. He's always right. The simple joy of being smart.
Hi, I'm Mike Keene, head baseball coach at the University of North Alabama. Have you ever heard the saying, great baseball players are made in the off-season? As a college baseball coach, I can tell which high school recruits are on a weight program and which ones are not. Help your young athlete reach the top of his sport by training with the personal trainers at the Courthouse Racket Club. Our 5 trainers are ready to work at your athlete's pace and your schedule. Try our 3andMe training program designed for 3 athletes to work with a trainer and lower the cost to fit any budget. Call Ken Irby at 764-0034 to set up a program designed especially for your young athlete. The Courthouse Racket Club, proudly serving the Shoals for 30 years.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. Coach Keene, this coming Sunday against New Orleans, the Lions going to honor 7 senior members of the baseball team at 1 o'clock just prior to the start of the final game of the series. And it's a really special group for you, not only their performance on the field, but they provided great leadership for you both last year and this year to help you get back in the NCAA tournament last year and then be in the race again in 2012.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the, having an opportunity, what they did last year to get in the regionals, and then this year, depending on what happens down the stretch, try to put them in a position. Hopefully we'll continue to play well and get another opportunity to play in the postseason. But they've done a good job all with it. They've been a good part of our program, and all of them in this year's senior group has always contributed in some way to the success of the season. So, and sometimes that doesn't happen, but it has happened with all 7 seniors.
We'll just run down the list real quick. Daniel Corpy, an outfielder for you, really stepped in, had some starts early in the season. J.P. Lemunion was out with an injury and did a good job.
Yeah, that's he was able to get in DH for us early in the year when we had to get some in and got some good wins against some good clubs. Obviously as the season progresses, some things change, but without him earlier in the year, those were some wins that we probably wouldn't be able to get and really contribute to us early in the season.
Your catcher, Drew Parker, he played for you sparingly last year behind Dale Ricketts, but he's really stepped up and done a great job at the plate and handling the pitchers this year.
I think that's one thing is Drew has just done a tremendous job of handling our pitching staff, calls most of the games. He obviously gets with Coach Hancock, they give it a scouting report, but I think he handles well. A very good communicator, does a good job with the umpires, very enthusiastic. I think he's one of the more energetic guys we have on our team, and just every day at practice, he's just that way all the time and really been a really nice asset to our program.
Your center fielder, J.P. Lemunion, was an all-conference player at third base last year, and a lot of times you don't move an all-conference guy, but he's really contributed in the outfield with his speed this year.
Right,
as well.
And I think the biggest thing, J.P. started off so hot, then he had that injury, and just really has not been able, as far as his batting average, been able to get back up to where it was. But if you look what he's done, his on-base percentage this year is just, it's like 450. So it's, he's done a good job of getting on base and really has improved his outfield skill. I've seen him really run some balls down in the outfield and center field, and I think that's where he's made his most improvement is defensively in the outfield.
Jake Sloan used primarily as a DH this year. He can also pitch, and he's seen some time in the outfield, so a versatile guy, but done a great job offensively in particular.
Yeah, and Jake was actually early in the year when JP was hurt, he was actually in the outfield playing right field. So he can play outfield, runs well, but has been a DH for us and can run a little bit. Obviously has some good power. Just another guy that plays the game hard, really has a lot of energy. So if we can get all those guys clicking the same page, then we give the chance to score a lot more runs. But again, been really good to have him in our program.
We've talked a lot about Michael Schmidt already, but he also a senior, a guy you're really going to miss.
Yeah, Michael's probably, statistically all the way around has, had by far one of the most successful seasons of all the seniors, and hopefully he'll continue to do. He's batting, he's been flirting around 400 all year long, but he's got a lot of stolen bases, one of the top defensive players and just an RBI. So he's really covered all gamuts of the baseball game and just having a great year. And like I said, if he'll finish strong with that, I think, he'll have some nice postseason honors.
And 2 senior pitchers for you. Both have done a great job. At first, Johnny Hornbuckle, the guy we just saw in the video, 6-4 for you, really battled this year.
Right. And Johnny last year, obviously he was he just huge in the postseason, had tremendous postseason success. Kind of came out a little bit slower, but as you see, as the season gets prolonged and gets a little longer, and again we're getting towards the end of the season, it seems that every outing is getting a little bit better. I was actually watching his bullpen yesterday, and his location is really good. So I foresee him down the stretch going to be good for us, and obviously been a really good 2-year pitcher in our program.
And our final senior, Andrew Hillis, has done a great job for you, particularly middle of the week games, some tremendous starts for you.
Yeah, Andrew was one of those that came in here last year and had some big starts, but this year he really got his opportunity against AUM early in the year and took full advantage of it. And he's been, if you look at where our record is now and some of the teams we played midweek, without Andrew Hillis pitching the way he has midweek, it'd have been tough to say that we're going to have that many wins. So he's really contributed to the success of the season, especially with some of the midweek opponents, and just has had just a really good year for us.
We'll take a quick break and have more Lion baseball for you when we come back.
The UNA Baseball Review is brought to you by Riccatonis and by TVA Credit Union of the Shoals.
I'm Riccatoni Valentino, and I've got a question for you. Do you like lasagna? Do you like spaghetti? Do you like pizza? Do you like ravioli? Do you like steak marsala? Do you like shrimp spadino? Do you like to have a good time? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you need to go to Riccatoni's in historic downtown Florence. They know how to have fun down there, and the food's great. So remember, it's Riccatoni's Italian Grill in downtown Florence, and tell them Riccatoni Valentino sent you.
TVA Credit Union was established by the Farm Credit Administration on June 24, 1936, with 7 branches full of financial experts offering personal advice. TVA Credit Union offers low rates for mortgages, auto and personal loans, as well as higher rates on savings and CDs. TVA Credit Union is member-owned and operated, and now open to the community. TVA Credit Union is everybody's credit union. Give TVA Credit Union a call today, 256-386-3000, or stop by any branch.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. It's time for our player profile segment. Coach Keene, today we're highlighting 4 freshman pitchers who've really been outstanding for you this year. I guess we could call them the Fab Four as we get into the highlights here, but 4 guys that have really stepped up and really controlled the late innings pitching for you this year. Right,
and it was one of those going into the season, didn't really know who was going to fulfill that role, but then we had just kind of giving guys opportunity, and who would have thought that 4 freshmen would have been taking over that role and done such a good job. The first one is obviously a left-handed Brantley Clonch, who's from Florence High School. The biggest thing he did from the fall and early the spring, he just was able to throw a lot of strikes, and when he gets in there, he's just been tough and has been in appearance, is in the top in appearance, top in earned run average in the conference. So he's just done a really good job for us. And when you get into the postseason and late in the season, he's going to be so huge for us to be able to get not only lefties out, but be able to burn some innings in case one of the starters start struggling a little bit. And he's been able to. And Montevallo was one of the, he pitched tremendous at Montevallo to preserve that win for us.
Brantley, with 23 appearances this year, he's 5-1. So actually, been able to come in and pick up 5 wins, 2 saves of the 1.66 ERA. So he's among the conference leaders in appearances and ERA.
Right, and like I said, he's just been able to really fulfill a role that we needed, and really has done a good job with us.
And Drew Mobley, here's another one from Huntsville, and Drew's come in quite a few appearances for you as well and done a really good job.
Yeah, and Drew's out of Madison Academy, which obviously Mike Good over there, they've had a very successful baseball program for years, and really is a guy that hasn't had as many opportunities as we'd like, gets them early, but just all of a sudden the starters start going a little bit longer. He's been the first guy out of the bullpen, but I know he's still got an opportunity. He's going to be able to pitch. I think he's going to be a guy for the future of our program. I think he's going to end up being a really good pitcher for us. He's got to be able to be a little more refined on a third pitch, but a guy has good location, good size, and again, as early in the season, he really had some good outings for us and really gave us some good some good innings.
And Clonch leading the team in ERA. Drew is second at 174. So 2 guys, and then another guy we're going to look at in a minute. Ben Seabrook is third, but to have freshmen leading your team in ERA is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and like I said, when they've got in there, they've been able to get the outs and do their job, and that's really what you ask, and that's why you can see us win a lot of games late, because they're able to stop the other team from scoring any more runs.
Here's Jacob Westerhouse, also from Huntsville. He has 17 appearances this year, and really the only bad outing that I remember him having was when he came in with a 10-run lead. I think it was too much cushion, but when he's come in with the pressure on, he's really performed.
Yeah, and then, he's out of Sparkman High School. Kellen Greer does a very good job over there, so from another good high school program. And, he's one of those kids we're lucky to get him. It's when Northwest Shoals dropped their program, and he had signed over there with David Langston, and we're able to get him over here. And again, another guy that's obviously you see that he throws submarine, has some really good sink on the ball. And like I said, as long as he's throwing strikes and fill it up, get that sink, he's going to get a lot of ground balls. Now, sometimes he gets that ground ball chops, but he's another guy that's really had a good year and has really been able to come into the middle. We usually like using him in the 8th inning to get through that 8th inning to get to Seabrook. So again, a role that we talked about with Casey Jones. These guys have all filled. This is basically all these roles have been filled from what Casey Jones did for us last year, and as freshman has done a really good job.
And then here's Ben Seabrook. He has 11 saves, one shy of the school record at this point in the season, but 1.80 ERA, and he's made a lot of appearances for you, 19 times out there with the pressure on, and like I said, has performed with 11 saves.
And that was kind of we really had no idea who we were going to close, and we had some other individuals we thought were going to be able to do it, and they had some arm situations, and we kind of both, Coach Hancock and myself, kind of thought, well, Ben with his breaking ball, and he's not a guy that's just going to 90 miles an hour guy, but he's got a good arm, and the ball kind of jumps out of his hand. But the biggest thing, as you said, when you get in that situation, you got to be able to throw strikes, and that's really what Ben's been able to do late in the game, and has handled the pressure extremely well. And like I said, you look at how many saves that he's had in this year as a true freshman. I think that's just incredible. A lot of times you look at maybe having 4 or 5 saves, but all the way up to 11. So that also tells you how many close games he's been involved in.
It just shows you how important the recruiting is. I mean, you need to go out and get some new arms, and for all these guys to be able to come in and contribute immediately is just a contribution or praise to them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it you got to give Coach Hancock a lot of credit, because to take the pitching staff and then kind of retool it the way it needed to be done, and then put them in their roles and handle the way he's been able to handle the freshmen. I think he's just done a tremendous job with putting them in a position to allow us to be successful.
2 weekends left in the Gulf South Conference race, a big 3-game home series with New Orleans, and then you're going to travel to Alabama, Huntsville. UAH right in the middle of the race as well. So every game, whether it's against them or against someone else, all 6 of these are going to be very important.
Yeah, I think that there's no doubt about it. You got to play well down the stretch. University of New Orleans is probably one of those teams that it's hard to figure them out. They've had some big wins. They've had some games. It seems like we kind of look at it. If they play a team that's ranked a little bit higher, they seem to crank it up. I know they got some talent. We've never played them, don't know much about their style. So for me, that's what's probably kind of the most challenging thing, because we really don't know a whole lot about them. So it's going to have to kind of go in, and hopefully we play well.
A couple of good opportunities again. Watch the Lions at home against New Orleans. Then you got Union, another tough non-conference opponent on middle of the week.
And I think this year with Union, obviously they're an NAIA program, but they're moving into the GSC next year. So I think that kind of makes it a little different than normally when we're going to play them. So we get to kind of get a little maybe test to see what we're going to encounter next year. Then obviously when you end at UAH, Huntsville always plays extremely good against us. They enjoy playing us. We've never played on their field in their ballpark, so that's going to be a brand new venue. So, it's going to be some good games down the stretch.
Before we wrap up, we want to congratulate former UNA Lion Josh Willingham, named American League Player of the Week. Has a 12-game hitting streak for the Minnesota Twins, so off to a tremendous start there.
Yeah, it's glad that he took all that stuff he learned from UNA out
That's
to the
exactly
big leagues.
Right.
Yeah. Now he works hard, understands how they're just really proud of him to achieve that, and I'm glad he's having a really good year, and hopefully he continues.
The UNA Lions at home against New Orleans, then Union, and then close out the season at UAH for the regular season. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you again for watching the UNA Baseball Review. Please join us again next Sunday at 11:30.